Hi everyone, Suzanne here. Beautiful sunny day, blue skies. After the snow and the rain, it's such a dynamic time of year in the weather, in our spirits, in our hearts. I want to talk to you today about the ghost of Christmas present, or the spirits of Christmas present. And I recall often a quote by Oliver Cromwell from the 16th century, and he is imploring people to question their judgments, their perceptions. And he says, "I beseech you from the bowels of Christ to consider the possibility that you are mistaken. I beseech you from the bowels of Christ to consider the possibility that you are mistaken." I think this is in essence what the spirit of Christmas present is trying to tell us. That in these abandoned children that are revealed, the ghost, the child of ignorance and the child of want, which is really neglect and isolation. But he is saying, he is imploring, as is the ghost of Christmas present, that we begin to question our perceptions. And this is very challenging because in our rational mind, or what we think is our rational mind, we gather evidence about how right we are. We gather evidence about how wrong someone else is. And we gather evidence against ourselves, against our own heart, of our own unworthiness. So the ghost of Christmas present is the invitation to question what it is we're really perceiving, because our perceptions are often filtered through a very old, often traumatized part of our brain, part of our narrative. And so we're not actually seeing clearly. And so my invitation here in visiting Christmas present is one of humility. I found myself in a big story yesterday, and I knew I was in a story, and yet I couldn't find my way out of it. I couldn't see the truth. I couldn't see the way. And so the other part of the ghost of Christmas present is this beautiful thing called incarnation. Karen, the lovely minister of James Bay United Church, talked about it on Sunday as this holy child that is within all of us. This is an incarnated Christ that is in our flesh. And how do we miss it? Well, we do, because our perceptions often eclipse that very incarnation. And we don't even know that it's there. We don't know how to listen. And we're caught in whatever it is we're believing, thinking that it's true. We're caught, we're stuck. And so the beauty of incarnation is that it is there. It was with you before you were born, before I was born. But learning to listen to it is very challenging. It's actually counterintuitive. Our intuitions tell us to run, to fight, to freeze, to hide, and yet these perceptions mostly are not true. If there's a saber-toothed tiger chomping down your backside, yeah, run. But often that isn't what's happening. And this overdetermined little survivor just goes on the job. And like Scrooge, because of his neglect, because he learned how to neglect himself, his father neglected him, his mother wasn't there, and so he was unaware of his own suffering. He was unaware of his own hurt. And his perceptions had him believing that all of this would make it better. All of this would make him worthy, this money, this status. So one of the really challenging parts for so many of us is that we live a disembodied life. We're not really feeling, we're not really in tune with the incarnational angels that are in our flesh, that are telling us that you are suffering. This is hurting. This is hurting you. This is hurting someone else. This is a great challenge indeed, to return to this body in a contemplative and prayerful way. So what I want to offer you today is simply the question, is it true? As I'm in my kerfuffle yesterday, it's like, is this actually true? And we can't go to the mind for the answer because the mind doesn't have the answer. We just can stop and listen and wish and pray to hear what is deep in our body, deep in our flesh, in our bones and in our blood that we share with everyone. Is it true what I'm actually believing? What I'm actually seeing? What I'm perceiving, is it true? I beseech you, from the bowels of Christ, consider the possibility that you are mistaken, because mostly we are. Right now, with everything that is around us, we are all fearful, managing considerable terror sometimes. So then we move on to Christmas future, the spirit of Christmas future. And what do you want that future to be like? What do you want to see? Are these things cast in stone just because I've believed them forever? What I perceive, is it really true? Or can I change these things? Well, as you know, with Scrooge, and it was very challenging for him because he had to demote himself. He had to find that humility with the help of the Spirit to open up to, yes, you are wrong in what you are seeing and perceiving, and feel the truth of that. Let that humble you. Let that break you open. Because what is there then? But the beauty of a future, and yes, a death. Yes, we have to let parts of ourselves fall away. But it is a happy thing. Merry Christmas to you all, and a Happy New Year. God bless. Bye for now.